Welcome to the 24th lesson of SmartKnitter, Knit Instructions Level 2. Today we will explore the binding off options in translations together. Let's go to the translation setting. Under bind off option, we have 3 options to handle the bind off if it exceeds the set number of stitches. Let's take a look at the first option, thread up on last stitch. Upon translation, we can see that the edge thread makes a front stitch to hang the starting portion of the bind off on the needle bed. After 5 revolutions, it is pressed off at the set revolution count. This option only controls the underarm bind off, but not bind off actions in other panel positions. Note that if the set max bind off stitch count here is larger than the bind off stitch count, this option would not take effect. We need to bind of 8 stitches here. If we set the stitch count to 9 stitches, nothing will be done. Let's take a look at how does the second stitch count take effect. We need to bind off 29 stitches. The second stitch count controls when the thread up is cast off. If it is set to 0, it is by default to cast off after the last bind off. If there are too many stitches for bind off, it is recommended to cast off earlier to prevent the yarn from breaking. Let's say we wanted to cast off 8 stitches later. The edge front stitch is now released 8 stitches later. Let's look at another example with stripes. We can see that only feeder 4 is involved in the bind off segment. Feeder 3 has a long float when it is brought back in for knitting after bind off. Go to translation setting again. Under bind off option, select when lock yarn in stripes, bind off by bind off W/striping feeders alternatively. We can see that feeder 3 and 4 take turn in bind off alternatively, minimizing the floats after the bind off section. Another option is to draw a short row with feeder 3 for bind off only on the right side. Check the zone color. It should be the same as the main body. Feeder 4 now does bind off on the left side. Feeder 3 does bind off on the right side. Let's look at another striped panel. Let's translate the original file and identify the problem. After translation, we see long floats by feeder 5 here. Go back to translation setting. Under Bind Off option, select When lock yarn in stripes, bind off by bind off with striping feeders alternatively. We should select Auto Tuck for stripe under Knot option as well. We can see the two feeders participate in the bind off alternatively, preventing long floats. Alternatively, we can choose Knit first then bind off. The feeder that doesn't participate in the bind off process will knit the short row first. In this way, feeder 5 knit first before we perform bind off. This can also prevent long floats from forming. Let's look at the next example. We have a sleeve panel in partial jacquard with stripe base. After translating the original file, we see that there is half-gauge knitting on the left side. If we do not want that, we can make some changes in the translation setting. If Knit first then bind off is selected, the feeders that do not participate in the bind off will first knit in half-gauge first. Another option is select Bind off with striping feeders alternatively. Make sure Auto Tuck for stripe is checked as well when this option is selected. All the colors will take turn to participate in the bind off row, and there is no extra half-gauge knitting. This marks the end of this tutorial. Thank you for watching.